face off. We're gonna talk your face off. We're gonna talk your face off. 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 Talk your face off.
Hey, Pablo finally joined us. We're ready to rock and roll.
Sorry, guys. I had to get my little setup here again squared away because I haven't been down here much.
No.
At all. Been at the track. At the track doing work.
Doing the track stuff. That's good, though.
How's my audio? I'm looking at my little thing here. Can't tell if it's too loud or too quiet. Or if it's like peaking.
There was a couple times it did. It's not too bad, though.
It is definitely a better temperature down here than at the track.
Right? It's amazing here outside right now. Like if we were racing outside, it'd be beautiful.
I'm trying to see it's 70 degrees right now with a low of 48.
Ooh.
It's nice. It's comfortable.
So it would be nice at the track, actually.
Yeah, nice little breeze. So this weekend it gets up to 84, but it still dips down to 50 degrees at night.
Well, since we're old guys and doing the weather, let's see what our weather is.
Current
like
weather is
off-road recovery, and the weather is today. The sun is setting.
I know.
It feels like 69 here, and mostly cloudy, breezy.
Nice.
It's gonna be good.
Fancy guy. Racing K says fancy guys both wearing Bluetooth earbuds. Ooh. Tony's are way more fancy than mine.
Mine are not Bluetooth though.
Yeah, his are the fancy. He's gonna be going like this later.
If you guys wanna look that up at some point, it's pretty fancy.
That's awesome. Yeah, mine are just Beats.
Mine are just tucked behind my head.
Yeah. I actually prefer having it this way. I was telling Tony right before we got on because it's like my headphones are they get hot after being on for a while, and it makes it a little easier to talk into this. I wish I could figure out a way to use this with my phone at the track because I don't like the audio on from the phone.
But iPhone doesn't allow you to do external microphones through Safari, or it didn't used to. Maybe they've changed that.
That's what I was going to say. I've got the iPhone 15 now.
It was a Safari thing that Safari wouldn't allow you to. Yeah.
I wonder if I could because I can download Chrome. I think I have Chrome on it. I wonder if Chrome would let me do it.
Maybe.
Ooh, we'll have to
give it a go. All right, let's do a tech show right now. And the one week I actually have a ton of stuff to talk about RC-wise. Right? We're going to do a tech show. Let's do it.
Yes.
Technology.
So we never really circled back. Let's circle back on your Axial adventure.
Yeah, I was sick. No, I was at Axialfest last week. I was sick. No, I was sick the week after.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
You were sick before Axialfest. Yeah.
And then I went to Axialfest and we haven't been able to talk about it?
Right.
No, it was after Axialfest.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You were sick after Axialfest. Did I say it backwards?
Yeah, I think we said it backwards. Anyway, we didn't get to talk about it. It was an amazing trip. It was a shortened trip. I wasn't even there the whole time. Yeah. And yet I think I had some of the most fun on this trip yet. So
yeah,
I hit a ton more trails than normal that I normally get to. And there were some awesome trails. They opened up the back of the quarry in a way that it hadn't been opened up before, except for like night runs and stuff. And so it gave a whole bunch of, so when you'd go into the woods, you'd end up in like mud holes and they'd have, it's just trail running without a lot of going on. They'd have some in the past, And still, even coming in, if you were to take the trails from base camp into the quarry, you're basically running flat ground with mud holes that trucks have dug out. Some of them are muddy, some of them aren't as muddy, and you can just kind of go up and down them. You know, it's not a ton of terrain in there. They build a few wooden objects that you can climb up and go up into the trees. There was a really cool, like 225-foot long suspension bridge they made. It was super long. It might have been longer than that. It was super long. And I saw Matthew Copeland for like a hot minute, and he made fun of me immediately upon seeing me and tried to make me feel small.
Is he taller than you or something?
Cars. No. Like I was not driving at all or something. Yeah. Anyway, it was funny. It was actually good. So I was filming, you know.
Yeah.
But I was out there running. But I think that time I was actually with Javier, and we were going to film Operation 11 Charlie stuff. So I might not have actually had a car with me.
Yeah.
Or did I? And it was in the back of the truck. I think he came to pick me up. I'd just been out wheeling. That's what it was. I'd just been out wheeling. He came and picked me up, and my truck was in the back. But yeah. But I was just sitting in a side-by-side where you don't usually get dropped off there in the side-by-side. So I was getting like a little gold glove treatment, you know, like the white glove treatment. Because he'd come to pick me up to do some interview stuff. And so, yeah. Anyway, that happened. But I'd been out there running. And the Unimog, first of all, we'll talk about that. Let's remind me that I want to talk about the Unimog later.
Okay. Don't forget to talk about the Unimog later.
It's really good. I love it. Absolutely love it. SCX6 also, their stories after our last one was about me, whether or not I was going to take it or whether or not I was going to sell it. And I took it and I sold it.
Nice.
Yep.
And then you bought another one.
Yeah. I bought another one. It's right there. So we'll talk about that.
Nice.
But yeah, so man, it was just an awesome, the whole time I got to stay with Operation 11 Charlie. And I was helping them film some stuff for, and hopefully I'm going to Utah with them for their St. George's event in later end of the year.
When is that?
So we'll be able to film November.
Ooh.
And West Desert Wheeler and some different people are going to be there.
Yeah.
And doing some stuff. They're going to have a whole event. That's an O11C event. So
nice.
We're trying to show kind of what it's changed. The organization has changed so much in the last 7 years or however long they've been around. 6. I had said 5 last year. I'm like, man, in 5 years, but I'm like, or I said like 3 to 5. But I'm like, dude, I was in Michigan for 3 of it now. So that was like, they've been around a lot longer than in my mind I was thinking. But they've changed. Like the whole way that they do things has changed, and kind of showing what it looks like now. And so we want to capture that, and when they go to these events, what it looks like for the guys that are a part of it, and having some of them interviewed and talking about what it means to them. So we were doing that kind of stuff. My buddy Travis here in Michigan and his dad came down, and so I hit the trails with them 2 or 3 times. We went out and hit trails. Plus, we did mini comps over at our camps at the Operation 11 Charlie cabin. So they had a big cabin. I kept everyone up all night and snored. I was in an open area of just bunks, and I snore something fierce. I mean,
can't keep me up. I don't know if I snore or if I just sleep like a rock.
You do a little, but not like my wife's recorded me. It's not good. I probably need one of those like Darth Vader masks that you sleep in that, but I mean, what better group of guys though to be with when you have a bad snoring disease that I have, because they have learned to sleep through anything. So I tried to just let them all go to sleep before I went to sleep.
Okay.
That way I wouldn't keep them up thinking about it. They were already asleep, and hopefully they just kept sleeping, but no. So Travis came over and Josh came over. Truck Tech Joe came over, and who else? We had Jeremy Kilburn was there. Matt.
He
Bunch of
just said the
people.
Bears were complaining about the noise.
The Bears, yeah. Eddie's RC. Jeremy was there. He was next door, and I think he could hear me in their cabin.
Oh man,
Which was
that's
like
crazy.
he was on like it was a split. It was like a duplex one, and he was on the farther side, and I'm pretty sure I kept them awake. Axial Cage stayed with us as well, so
Nice. Nice.
got to meet Hemi Storm, and we were gonna try and get out and hit a trail, and it just didn't. So my trip got cut short. My son Dominic entered a disc golf tournament, and I thought I was missing. I thought it was on Thursday. Like, just no way I was going to make it. Well, then I learned it was on Saturday, and I'm like, I was going to get up and leave Saturday anyway, like in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could leave Friday night. If I left by like 5:30, I could be home by 10, get some rest, find out the plan.
You're so old.
Get it and go.
Get to bed by 9. Like,
I didn't go to bed. I had to unpack and
yeah.
No, I was still up till 2, but I needed to get up while they were home and talk through him what he wanted out of the day and whatnot. So, and they kind of shut down anyway. It goes into like I wasn't missing a whole lot at that point because there's going to be the award base camp stuff was coming up. So that's when I was going to check out. So I got my interviews anyway, got on the road, and then, but I missed the night run. So I put in those lights, and I didn't even get to do the night run.
It's funny you say that because
so ironic.
We'll get to the event that I'm going to later, but they're having a night run, and I'm like, I don't think I could do it. Like, it's going to be we'll get there later, but I just don't think I'm going to have gas in the tank, man. It's going to be a long day. Especially because it probably gets dark at like 10 o'clock, right? Over there, like 9, 10 o'clock. And you have to stay up that late to get out there. Brutal. Jim says, thanks for setting up the gates.
Thursday versus Friday. Yeah, so Jems was there. That's Josh. I was saying him and Truck Chick Joe, they came into the mini comp with us. And we set wide gates for him. I asked like what he needed. And
he's like 2-foot gates.
Yeah, he had a Mias axles and wideners and stuff. So we set him to like 7.5 inches, I think, the first night. And I mean, it gave him room to get through them, but it meant like I just kind of walked through them like till the last one.
Yeah.
But I had so many points to give at that point. I just kind of was messing and getting through it. But so he then sat down and fixed his truck up. Next day, his truck was fire. Like, he went back to the drawing board with it, tightened it up, and it was really good. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, we didn't really send out a super invite on it, and it was also last minute, and it got dark so fast by the time we were back there. We just kind of did it. We were standing around the truck, the gates were there, and we're like, let's throw some down.
Yeah.
Have some fun. Like, we were looking for something to do. I just finished upgrading the STX6. Addie's RC had some trio parts for me to put on it. And so
nice.
The best one that I forgot to remove on the one I sold was the stiffener for the shift servo. That thing flexes like so mad when you use it. And under any load, like under shift. But the trio one, the way he designed it, and it's hot. Like, it just
nice
night and day. And then I sold it, and it was in there. And I put the new servo in it, the Spectrum servo. Somebody got the deal of the event. I hate to say what it ended up going for. But yeah,
that's all right.
Deal of the same. But I'd already bought the other one, and I wasn't. So here's what happened. I was convinced that I needed to have a proper SCX6 run before I decided what I was going to do, if I was going to be all in or not. I took it to tech, had it there, drove it out like whatever from my truck with my little wheeled cart, drove it, sat down, talking with people, went to go forward, zit, 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 not moving. I'm like, are you kidding?
Pinion
Did
came
the
loose?
slip clutch go again? So, because remember when I first got it out of the box, it had a slipper clutch that was loose. And I had to
I
tear
don't
it
know
all
about
apart out of the box, brand new, tighten it down. Anyway,
Oof.
so I did all that. But I'm like, I am not like I just did all that work on the night before, put it in servos, had to buy a
Yeah.
here. I bought a servo mount from Reeves because the 23 or whatever spline was on the stock Spectrum did not match the new Spectrum, the expensiver one, the $200, $230 one that I just put in. So
Yeah.
Reeves had horns that fit it, got that on, put the Treel mount on, bracket on, so I worked on it for a bit. And I'm like, are you kidding? Now I got to tear this all apart and go in here. Like, I just want to get on the trail with this. I've got other stuff to do while I'm here. Then they throw a sale down and they're like $850 to get one at the show. And I'm like, that's like $250 off.
Yeah.
That's because they're $1,200. I'm like,
yeah.
Is that more than $250? $850 off of 1099.
Yeah.
Is that what they go for? They're $1,100. They were like $250 off. Anyway, more than I wanted to drop, but I did it. And then I was just telling somebody on one of the rides back from the quarry, and he's like, "I'll give you $100 for your other one." I'm like, "Make it $400 and it's yours." Brand new,
Really?
$230 servo in it. That Treel part on it as well.
Oof.
Yeah. And there was something else on it that I forgot that was on there that I mentioned to the guy. Oh, slipper pads. I bought because I thought it was a slipper. I bought the I just bought $25 slipper pads that are the carbon fiber whatever thing from Bauhaus RC.
Yeah.
And he got that too. So he got that Treel upgrade part, the Bauhaus kit,
brutal,
and the servo. And I just put that $25 servo horn on. So just those upgrade parts were about what he paid for. And then I saw the body had a pretty big crack going up the side, so I told him $350.
Are you serious? Oh man.
Yeah. He got a good deal.
Wow.
Yeah. And I took that money instead of putting it toward the truck I just bought. I got the Reese Beast 2000. So it didn't even go toward the cost of the one I just bought. It went toward a new servo.
Wow. Dude.
So I went all in on it. But we ran them and it was a blast. So
sure.
To bring it back around.
Sure. I'm in servo what's the word? I don't know why I always need servos. None of the good servos I have ever blow up.
Right.
It's just that
keep moving around.
Yeah, and it's like so I'm torn because my daughter's short course truck, it had the stock servo in it. It finally blew up the servo. And so we had to take, she's running a Reeves 422 in her buggy, her little turf car. So she took that out and put it in her dirt car. And now she's playing musical chairs. And so my son runs the 299 LP, the red one, in his buggy. And it looks awesome because his car's red, white, and blue, all that. Her car is like pink and teal and has like the purpley titanium parts on it. So I'd like to get her the purple 299 LP, but I'm torn because the Reedy servo is in stock, and I get a kind of a deal on the Reedy servo. So I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? And I need like 2 crawler servos, 2 or 3 crawler servos.
Just
It's
always
like,
choose the raw 500 and you can use it for anything.
I know. Well, that's what I did. So the raw
You can use it
500
for a
came off the
crawler.
monster truck. I know, and it went into the 8 scale buggy. The raw.
Yeah.
So that's
You could
why I
buggy
need
it, you
another
could
one.
crawler it, you could, I mean, it's
Yep.
just the most versatile servo I've ever had. Really
Yep.
quickly to Osborne RC, reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook through Messenger on one of those about the Baby Hippo axles. I don't know why they're binding up. I run them on most of my rigs, and I don't have anything noticeable as far as binding in mine, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Other than axial stuff, or these little things can get binding. Who knows where? You put a nut on too tight and they bind. I mean, they're so finicky.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
um,
Eddie says he's biased
yeah,
on the
reach out.
299. I like the 299. So, like I said, my son runs the 299. I run the Liquidus, and my daughter runs the 422. I'd like to get the 299 in purple for her car just so it matches, but I'm like, the cost difference is aggressive. Yes. No hat.
You didn't, so he's not very observant because that's the obvious thing in the room. I'm wearing a gray Reefs hat. That's new.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bought this when I was there too. I'm as Tanker T68 said, an impulse buyer. And I saw the gray hat and I was like, I don't have one of those.
I know.
I really like my gray hats these days. I'm gonna have to get one.
Yep.
But
so Taco Off Road has a good question.
The Bauhaus slippers for those asking.
Taco Off Road has a good question, and we've both had different experiences with this. So the cheap, I'll say cheap one that works, sort of, it does, is the Fly Sky GT5.
And
that's the cheapest one.
Top knob, right?
Or
or
it's not mixed, but you can set it to do crab, or set it to do opposing, or just rear, whatever you want. But it's not very.
You want to be able to draw. You want a wheel.
Yeah, it's not very what's the word? It's not very intuitive or quick to change that. But the little knob on top, that's how I used to have mine. And so I would drive with a thumbstick. I had a little thumb deal on my wheel, and then I would rotate the knob, and that's how I got that. And then same with the Radiolink RC8X. That one has the same knob that I use, or a similar knob for that. But you can do the Radiolink. You can do all the mixing in the world with the Radiolink, for sure. What's your thoughts? Because you've run Spectrum.
Worked good. I ran the Radiolink for my Force Steer on my Mini. The Spectrum one, I don't actually run on a wheel though. I just have it push forward, pull back, and I have it set to 30%. Or you could do 5 steps, and you could do different stages.
You can do that. Yeah, you could actually do that on the Fly Sky. It's got a toggle, not a toggle, but it's got like a rocker switch that you can go forward or back. 3-position switch. It's nice. It's just my hand's a little too big to be able to reach back to that one because it's like on the stock. I can't reach it too well.
Yeah.
Racing Case said the MT12
input and a 3-channel change. Yeah. So that's basically what you'd be doing is if you have the 2 servos and you have a third or an auxiliary channel that you can program to it, then you have the ability to turn it on or off how you want. Or you could do them just always on and just have it set reversed and do it so it always does. But that's monster truck kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the big thing about that, you have to have a good rear servo that stays in position, that doesn't drift. So if you have a servo that's if you get a nice servo for the front and then cheap out on the back servo is going to drift when you're crawling, and you're constantly going to be adjusting it, kind of a thing. I've had that issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get a nice one on there, like I've used the Raw 500 on the rear axle before, and it was just like locked. It didn't go anywhere. I didn't tell it
Right.
to, so which is nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, if you can get it on a wheel, that's ideal. Just for saying what's the ideal. But I mean,
yeah,
budgets, lots of things play into that. I love my Tech setup for my minis. That's probably my
yeah.
favorite thing that I run. Any of them that I've run so far for four steer, it's just set up for it. But what
I just
happened?
realized this.
You don't have a
I
hat?
can move around the shop now,
Oh,
not be hooked to the mic on my ear.
because they're Bluetooth.
Yeah, very cool. Anyways,
Nice.
sorry.
Yeah. So Jim's Hobbies just answered another question was about that the Beast 2000 cost $625 Canadian,
Woo.
and yeah, it's a little rich. So he was asking for other suggestions, and I ran with Jim's Hobbies and with Joe, Truck Tech Joe. We all went
Mhm.
out with our honchos and had a blast. I was rocking the reefs. Joe was rocking the NSDRC, and Josh, I believe, had the Shift RC one. So,
Mhm.
and we got video of all of that. Oh, he's saying actually right here that he has video of it. So his
Nice.
video is up. So he got video of it too, and it's up. Mine is not. I have
Nice.
not touched any footage from Axialfest yet. Yes,
The
that
thing I
works.
love about this works, and so thumb steer, and then I use the knob. The nice thing about the knob is it has detents in it, meaning it's like a clock where it clicks on every spot, which
Yeah.
is nice because you can
You
kind
know
of
how
have a
far
little
you're
bit of
going.
flow.
Yeah.
You can change it to this back knob, but then you kind of run into your thumb a little bit. The nice thing about this though are the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers are I buy them by the pair on Amazon for $30. And they're like 6-channel receivers for $30. Maybe 5, I don't know. But
Yep.
and you can do this. And you can do this where hold on. Have a cool logo on it.
Yeah, they should have made it last longer. Everybody wants to
I
see the
know.
logo longer.
That's what she said.
Movie Monsters, you can do 4-wheel steer for his monster trucks on Spectrum. Yeah, but they do it too where you click through different settings. They have it built in where you can program it to use their crab walk, 4 steer, the different settings for it. But yeah. Oh, back to the UMG
Yes.
10. Man, that thing was awesome. Stock tires. Stock tires hooked up, dude.
Yeah.
I went back
No
out and
scramblers.
ran. They performed better, closer to scramblers than my big J concept. What are the
Tusks.
no, the really new aggressive one.
Not
Starts with
Megalodon. They're called
megalithic.
Megalithic.
Megalithics.
Yeah.
It did better than those out
Really?
there. I mean, some of it's setup of the truck, but I had my base camp out there with the dig and all that, and not a slouch of a truck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's lifted different. I mean, everything about it did not handle at all as cool or good as the UMG 10. We got lots of footage of all of these running. I don't even know how I'm gonna do it all. Yeah, everybody knows megalithics. Thanks. I'm terrible with names. It's funny because they're saying it like right as we're saying it, like what is they called?
Yeah.
And they know, but we have to wait like 30 seconds to get their reaction.
Yeah.
We figured it out on our own, you guys. I just want to make sure you know that. That's all. But yeah, it was insane. I mean,
That's
I'm
cool.
absolutely in love with it. It's going to be like my trade. That's my truck. If I'm going trailing, that's my truck.
Nice.
I love the look of it. I love how it handles.
Do you have a winch on it?
I don't.
You need a winch.
It's built to be able to carry one, but I don't know if you can winch with lights, and then you get power draw issues, and then everything melts. And then I did drop it off of that 225 suspension bridge.
Really?
Yeah. Twice. It fell off. And it's a good 7 feet up, straight to the ground.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was over my head, walking under it, filming
Really?
it. And I was stopping to do some filming stuff, and somebody else got on it, because as long as it is, it's basically like catapulted my truck off. It felt like.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
That's crazy.
But no, I mean,
That's crazy.
I just am blown away at how good it drives. I'm shocked. I'm just.
I can't wait till this weekend.
You going crawling or racing?
Maybe both. So so we have a big race this weekend. I like it. So we have a big race this weekend. It's like it's called Party at the Park. So for you guys that are Northwestern people out here in the Northwest, if you can make it and you're into racing or crawling or bashing or whatever, I would say come out to Die Hard. Party at the Park is so awesome. So Friday night, we have a night race, a dirt off-road night race. They have lights on, and we're going to be out there racing. It starts at 6, track opens at 3, and we're basically, last year, I think they didn't finish till like 2 in the morning, which I don't know how we're going to do it with the kids. We're going to figure that out. But
just put cots in the trailer.
I know. Yeah, we have these hammocks that are like pop tent hammock kind of things. They're pretty cool. So I was like, well, maybe we'll just hang out with those. But so Friday night we do that. Saturday we wake up again and we turf race all day. So it's turf off-road all day on Saturday. Saturday night they're doing a night crawl. But here's the problem. Here's where I was saying, I don't know if I'm going to have enough in the tank. So Friday night we're going to be, I don't know if I'm working, but I'm probably working Friday for a little bit. So work, then race till, let's just say midnight, right? If I'm lucky, I'll get home by midnight. Race till midnight. Then I wake up, get the kids to the track by 10 o'clock. We have a practice session, and then we rip and we race. Then racing normally ends at like 6, maybe a little later, from an 11 o'clock start time, because there's so many classes in turf. And that's fun because you're constantly doing something, but it's a long day, especially these big races are a long day. So say we're done at 6, then it doesn't get dark till 9:30. And then if we do a night crawl, I'm not home till midnight again. And then, because we're like 15 minutes away. And then Sunday, we got to be back again at 11 for a dirt oval. And I'm like, bro, that's a lot of racing. And the kids are
humanity.
Yeah, and the kids are now like always in the running, in the hunt for podiums. So I don't know if I was on here last time after the last race. Both the kids caught podium on the big turf race. So Dalton got first, Olivia got third. And they were like moving. And then on dirt this last weekend, Dalton got first. Olivia was like half a lap from getting third place podium. It was awesome. And so they're in the hunt the entire time. So I don't know how, hopefully we could get them close to both being on. So the thing is that they do a points series over that weekend for like a triple crown for that weekend. So they'll be in the hunt for that too. If we can last. I don't know if we can last.
That's a big
because it's
weekend.
Also, bro, it's also going to be, speaking of weather, Friday's 83, Saturday's 84, and Sunday's 90.
Ooh.
So it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
All weekend. So you know what, it's going to cook us and get tired and all that kind of thing. And the kids are going to be running around playing. Like Friday night, they had so much fun at the last night race because they had the walkie-talkies and they had a bunch of kids with Nerf guns. And so they're like all over in the dark shooting kids with Nerf guns and stuff. It was
That's hilarious.
awesome. Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, so I don't know, man. It's going to be a busy weekend.
That's brutal. And we're not getting any younger.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. I'm like, how am I gonna do the it's like when you have the days off and you do stuff like that, then you have to go back to work and you're like, oh, but it's Friday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but luckily I think that I'm not sure, but I think after that race, I think we don't have another race until the 27th. So we actually get a little bit of a break, which is nice. Having a little bit of, we've been kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I'm dying to crawl. I think I might go crawling on 4th of July in the morning. I might go out by myself again and just kind of go out and hit the trail. We'll see. But I took the Raw 500 off of my Jericho build, and I put it in my kid's 8-scale buggy. So that's one of those that I'm like, I gotta figure it out.
Gotta get another one.
Yeah, I could pull the servo out of the Vanquish, put it in the Lazarus car, but I'm just tired of playing musical chairs.
I might have some servos sitting around. I'll look.
Huh?
I might have some servos sitting around.
Yeah, I mean, I could get some. It's one of those things.
I think I got some just sitting around though.
What they're talking about.
So
servo
somebody,
costs.
oh yeah, that's from earlier responses. Brian Koshner is looking for UMG kit.
Nice.
If you go actually back to my video, kind of showing the truck, there's a guy in the comments locally to me, I guess, that said, "You should let me know you wanted one. I have one still in the box," or something like that.
Oof.
So
my neighbor has.
I think he
UMG
probably thought that I
6x6.
paid to get it like used price, or like they're hard to get, whatever. So I think that somebody around here has one floating around.
Yeah.
Tempted. But
my neighbor has a 6x6 UMG.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
The only
sweet.
thing, and we talked about that last night. So I've been super busy. That's why I haven't touched any of my footage yet.
Yeah.
That's been the story of my life for 8 months now. Super busy.
I know. The same way.
Today was a 13-hour day. My time clock stuff clocks you out at 13 hours because they think that you've forgotten. So I had to go in and add to that, and like literally finish at like 9:30. And I told at 9:45. I was shutting the door. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down here and veg. And I'm like, oh, we gotta go live in 15 minutes. Like, I'm gonna sit and veg for 10 minutes, and then I'll get my computer out and get set up again. But
yeah.
And that's how it was yesterday, man. I went right from work. I sped home from a work meeting to get on the Operation 11 Charlie thing at 8:30.
Oh, that's right.
I wasn't on until 8:35 or something, but came right from. It's just like, it's been just go. I work every night this week until Thursday when we have Thursday off, and then Friday off. So, and then Saturday I'm going to Redbud, the motorcycle race.
Oh,
the motocross.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yep. So
that's awesome.
So that's vacation, but it's just been busy. Like, so I came back from Axialfest and took my son to the, whatever.
Disco
I worked.
thing.
I worked every night that week, plus during the day a lot. Got in the car, drove Wednesday. We were up late. Thursday, we were up late. Friday, worked, and then got in the car, drove back, took my son to his disc golf thing, then went to work till 9, and then worked all day Sunday for the most part. And then Monday worked and had meetings, and I found out my mom had somebody put an offer on her house, and I told her that in July I'd come and paint the side of her garage that had never been painted because there was all this stuff stuck. And I'm like, well, does that mean I still have to come paint the garage? Like, if he put in an offer, she's like, I'm there working on it right now. I'm like, what? So I just literally got in my car and drove 2 hours, painted for 3.5 hours to do it, and then drove 2.5 hours back. So that was another midnight. Worked Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then had my brothers in town Thursday, Friday. Like, it's been like go, like nonstop.
That's
go.
crazy.
So, and we have family coming in this weekend too. So, yeah.
Nice.
So I work tomorrow night as well, all day, and most of the day tomorrow, and then I work tomorrow night till 9.
Do you have any plans to blow up any more RC cars?
Blow them up with Roman candles.
I don't remember. I don't think it was last year. It might have been the year before.
We strapped Roman candles to the vortex, and we're just jumping it, shooting rockets. Yeah, it was a lot harder to time the jumping Roman candle hit than I wanted it to be. Plus turning, and then they're shooting at my neighbor's house. I'm like, oh, it can't be turning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I literally have not had, I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m. and I have not been able to just like, I'm not doing fun. So my work is fun and work, right? It's a little bit of both. It's a lot. It's relational. Sometimes, like tonight was like a small group of people over, but you have to get your house ready. You don't stop. And then they left at 9:30. You're doing entertaining, whatever. You can't just be doing what you want to do.
Right.
So in that way, it's you don't have the ability to just downtime.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it's also not like complaining. Like, it's still awesome.
Sure.
But it's like, how do I get any videos done? Like, because
that's the thing
that the evenings are these, like, right? End up on live streams, or like the one evening. Yeah.
Or you get tired. Like, I get in bed and I sit there, I have the laptop and I'm like, I know when my creative tank is empty.
Yeah.
And so I sit down at the computer and I go to try to start editing. And I'm like, nope. Like, I've been doing a lot more pictures lately because they're faster to get up.
Yep.
But yeah, I just throw them into Lightroom, throw a filter over them. You're like, wow, that looks cool. Then I'm out. It's like, I can't. And it's crazy because this new camera, dude, the cinematic on the 15 Pro Max or whatever it's called. Oh,
and then choosing what's in focus later. So good.
So good. So good. Yeah.
Real quick.
And
go ahead. No, there's a fun thing in the chat we should talk and just get some more comments going on. But what's your go-to crawler? He asked. I think that's a fun one to talk about. But keep going.
Camera. Awesome.
Camera. The cinematic.
And I've got so much footage with it. You know what's cool too is this last weekend, my daughter took the long lens camera and started taking pictures. And she's got, I found a new, I started playing around with more of the technical settings on it to take better pictures. And of course, it's like all the light we could take, right? Because it's in the summertime and the cars jumping and all that. She got some killer shots out there. And so I threw those into Lightroom and started playing with those. But yeah, I feel like I got so much. At what point do you punt and just throw up a video? Like, here's the thing. I haven't done a video in so long. I'm out of practice. And I don't want to spend a ton of time on the videos because I know no one's going to see them for the first 20 videos again. And so I'm like, what I've been wanting to do lately, I'm having kind of a duality here. I want to create
reels, man. Even YouTube.
Well, I'm talking about on YouTube.
Yeah, even on YouTube, I'm seeing people getting the 100,000 mark with not a lot of stuff, but their reels are getting them there.
Still?
So, oh yeah.
I haven't done a short in a while. So
Yeah.
here's the
It's
thing,
definitely
though.
putting the numbers up. It's skewed a lot
Yeah.
of their. I don't know if they're going to change their numbers because it's definitely skewed
hmm
the
So
subscriber
so
count.
here's the problem that I'm seeing for me. I want to do the longer form videos, right? As we all know, but I want to focus more on story lately, and it's when
I
you
feel a lot
focus
of
on
Dutch
story.
tilt coming here. He's going to be all cinematic and moody and shadow and
It totally is.
Dutch
Did you see
tilts.
the reel that I posted on the cars getting started of all the nitro cars in cinematic view? It's like, oh, like it's so dope. I have it, horizontal, and it's just like I pushed in on it as I'm walking. Like it's nice, but I want to do the story stuff, but the story stuff takes such a long time. And I get timid about it because I have the story in my head and I don't know how to convert it to video pictures without doing a lot of narration. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, because I don't have a British accent like all the race documentaries have, where there's some guy in a British accent talking over your storyline or whatever.
Yep. It's always way
Like,
smarter sounding.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have that, but I want to do more of that stuff, especially with the racing and the storyline of the kids racing and stuff. But that's the other thing that's tough. And it might be tough, but it might be a good thing. So before my daughter was in it and it was just my son racing, I would just track his car, right? 6-minute main, track his car.
Mm-hmm.
I see the car. Now they're both in the main. So
You
like
can't track
the
one. You got to stay wide.
well, no,
Or
here's what I
wait
do.
for them
I
to
track
come.
one and then when they cross, I'll pick up the other one and follow that car.
Oh, nice.
And you know what I mean? Like, so I've been doing some of
Are
that
you
lately, which
narrating it
is
as it goes or no?
not yet. I mean, I
Okay.
will be, I'll do it in post, but I'd like to do that. But just pull a Harley Designs move and use AI for the voiceover. I know, right? I thought about it. Get Morgan Freeman. Didn't he,
Yeah.
isn't he suing TikTok right now?
Is he?
I thought I
I'm
heard
sure.
something. I thought I heard
All right.
something
So,
about
what's your
that.
go-to crawler? Asked Colin B. He said mine's a TRX4. So you could go with what your go-to crawler base is,
Brand.
or yeah, or what
Mine's that.
ele-
Mine's the
elements you
Enduro
use.
platform.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
mine's.
wasn't trying to
I
say
like to
elements.
keep so I like to keep it simple, not so much shifting and all that kind of stuff. Um, so I actually took the base camp that I have, and I started playing, like trying to figure out how to hook up the shift linkage for the dig. I'm so frustrated with it. Like I don't know why it's such a pain in the butt, but I'm just like,
It's really not. I did it
I know, I
in
know.
a live stream.
Well, right now what it is I couldn't find the servo horn to do that
Okay.
silly post deal.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially
And
if you change
so,
the servo from the one they want you to use to a different size
yeah,
toothing.
well, I had the kit, so it didn't even come. So, yeah, so and I got this the Emax servo, right, to do it with, and yeah, it's like I'm very tempted just to lock it out, just to drive it, because it's like that's the only thing that's holding. I got everything else ready to go for it. I just need to lock it out and go. So, oh, I'm getting waved down. Hang on a second.
All right, so for me, what's my go-to crawler? Ooh, man, I would have said the VRD Carbon if I'm gonna do comping stuff. Like it's just, I mean, it crawls so good, so good. But I mean, I have so many favorites. I have probably 3 favorites. I like the UMG now is up there at the top for just trail crawling. The VRD if I'm gonna do like more comp stuff, lines and all that, and then
Sorry, it's our school has nothing blew up, but we have a
little
fireworks
emergency.
stand. Huh?
Okay.
Well, it's we have a fireworks stand, and there's like one guy manning it right now, and a truckload showed up of fireworks to unload, and the guy's like, I ain't unload. Not the guy, but truck driver is like, I don't unload. And so my wife has to send out an all call, but she's trying to get someone else to send out an all call, and I have the laptop. So I was like, well, we'll figure it
Oh,
out.
you're not giving her the laptop? You're just like,
No,
Oh, okay.
RC is life.
Yikes. That's hilarious. Is it a fundraiser, like fireworks fundraiser or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So we get a portion of what we sell. It's cool until your wife works at the school and you're a board member, and 4th of July, you're going to be there from 3 to 9 o'clock at night. Then it's not
selling
so cool.
fireworks to people last minute.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Because we're whatever.
Yeah. Well, just tell them to light them off in the
life.
parking lot. Like, you don't even have to go far.
I'm going to throw a match and walk away. So that cinematic feature on my phone, I'm going to throw a match and have my wife walk away, and I'm going to be all cinematic with it behind.
Just get the smoke
Slow-mo.
bombs, the big ones, the colored ones.
Yeah.
Just walk slow-mo in front of that. There you go. But yeah, so I was saying the element, I really like my element that I have. So my favorite right now is going to be the UMG 10. Like if I just were to pick up one and hit a trail, I love how it looks. I love how it drives. It's awesome.
Yep.
Comp wise,
Would you comp with it though?
No, VRD.
VRD, okay.
All day long. The
Okay.
carbon's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the best handling truck I mean, it's insane. But I don't really want to just go beat it up on a trail either. So if I'm just going out playing around.
Yeah.
The UMG is definitely going to be the one I'm going to take. But I really like my Ecto. That's got the scale pirate stuff, and it's a great rig. So it's tough.
That's
so I don't have a favorite. I have 3 favorites.
See, mine,
all based on look.
I agree. I have that Phoenix, but I don't have all the bells and whistles set up on the Phoenix. It's just drive. And so for me,
that's the same with mine. All of mine are just drive.
Right.
I don't have shifts on any of them.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that I like my Phoenix. It's funny because I have different, most of my cars, actually all of them now, you have the Bug. So the Bug was like the closest to like a comp car that I had. All of them now are like trail trucks. So I have one on the bench that I've been tinkering on that's hopefully going to be like a crawling truck, but I don't have it right now. So I haven't driven. It's not anywhere close to being drivable. So I built 2 of those chassis kind of at the same time that I did for the guy a while ago. So stock carbon with Fusion 1800. Tusk is my comp rig. I want to try the Tusks. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
J Concepts, if you're listening.
I love their landmines and their megalithics. I love them.
Yeah.
That's why I was shocked. I would love to try my UMG with those megalithics and spec wheels on. Because I think so much it was just the balance of the truck. It's just a whole different build. Shorter shocks, everything.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
Racing Case says he has a 10-pound Ford Ice. There's a lot on that Ford Ice. 10 pounds. So, okay, here's my... have you driven a Ford Ice? You have, right?
Nope.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to take a few arrows for this.
Uh-oh.
I drove the Ford Ice. I love the Phoenix. I don't love the Ford Ice. It's was probably no, I can't give any excuses for it. It just wasn't it. I mean, it didn't handle for me. It just wasn't out of the box. Well, yeah, but I mean, okay. But I had that. I don't have that expectation that's going to be a comp rig out of the box, but compared to some of my other stock-ish chassis. Josh, earmuffs, if you're listening. My daughter's Gen 1, Gen 8 outperforms it 100%.
So on that note, we
Just
we're gonna close down the channel and
just saying. Just
I don't
saying.
believe you. I think you got a bad one to use.
It was just really tippy. Like it didn't like the Phoenix is so much lower to the ground. Like it, I don't know why. Maybe it's the transmission being a little bit more. Was just like, well, yeah, the Gen 8 had aftermarket wheels. Okay, aftermarket wheels and tires. What tires are on? I don't know what tires are on it. But crawlers, maybe? I think it has crawlers on it. Or it's a straight axle. Okay, yeah, it's straight axle. Gen 8's portals. But I don't know, man. It didn't.
You'd have to take them on the same lines, the same day.
You know where I go in my Gandalf area or whatever you call it? Same areas.
Endor.
Endor.
Is like the Ewok planet, basically.
Yeah. I take it out there. Phoenix is portal. But I mean, I don't think you can equate the Phoenix to the Fordyce.
Right.
I'm just saying.
So, but out of the box, you're saying, except for wheels and tires. So that's
Yeah.
the thing. You don't have both of them.
My daughter. So okay. So my daughter's Gen 8 has crawlers on it, spec wheels. A 1080 V2 1080 and a Holmes Hobbies.
But that's not
Crawl
it's
Master
not
Sport.
The feel of the drive. It's more that it says tippy. It's just
It just didn't
balance
feel
of
it didn't feel planted. It didn't feel planted is what I felt. Like it just I like my cars to feel kind of
it's
heavy.
one of those things like how easily could you tune it and make it amazing? That's the question. Between the two, could you make the Fordyce way better with just a few tweaks where you're like, okay, now this kicks its butt?
Probably. Yeah. What servo? The servo that I have in my daughter's is one of those Hexfly high torque servos. It used to have a 422 in it, and I think I changed it to the Hexfly.
Brandon and Josh both swapped a shorter shock lower end to lower them 5 millimeters.
For the Fordyce, yeah. The Falcons were soft. I think that was part of the issue. I think the foams in them, and I'm not knocking this because I know depending on where you are, the foams react differently. But for me, the foams that were in them were way too soft. So the tire, when I was trying to crawl, like say I was trying to crawl up a hill, the tire was folding in on itself, trying to grab traction going up the hill. So the sidewall would have been just as soft. I don't know. Yeah, Racing Case says stock foams aren't great.
So if you're really not liking the stock tires and foams,
I don't mind the stock tires.
The
I think
Gen
the tires
8
are okay.
had different wheels and tires on it.
I think
wheels and tires on it.
I think just the articulation too is different. I think it seems like it's more of a scale. Like if I was to put a scale body on it and make it a total scaler, it would be awesome. It would be a performing scale, like real scale car. For my trail truck kind of driving style, it wasn't up to that par. Yeah.
Well, you also put a lot of weight on yours to make the body kind of roll and the suspension work. I think that's partly what I liked about the UMG 10. So I can't actually say how amazing they are out of the box because I have the steel bumpers and skid plates on the side, which
Yeah.
definitely changed the plant of it. But man,
Yeah.
my UMG
And the look, when you have weight like that and the car kind
the
of
way it
settles,
shifts, it just looks
it kind of
good
does one of,
driving. And so
yeah.
your
Yeah.
perspective is like, this is an amazing, like you're just watching it go and you're like, this thing's just doing it. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem
Exactly.
all toyish. It's just like, this thing's working.
Yeah. Or you could see it like
So that's
cavitate
probably what
trying
I
to go
liked
up a
about it
hill.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be some really cool footage of that coming. So I look forward to it.
I don't,
Nothing worse
and I
than two
don't,
soft phones. You have no control. Agreed.
So for me, I don't want to talk trash about it because to your point, yes, a little bit of tweaking, like it might be. Here's the thing too, for maybe other people that don't crawl as much as I generally crawl, except for the summer and spring, but for people that probably don't crawl as much as I do and have a preference or a feel that they like, I bet you it's dynamite. You know what I mean? As an out of the box crawler. I don't know. I bet you it's dynamite. But for me, it's just a little. There's some things that I would change that would make it like my Phoenix. It just feels more substantial. I don't know why. It just feels like it's like planted when it's on the ground. This one just feels a little light, like it. I don't know.
Airy.
So. Yeah, it's a weird feel. I don't know. It just
Sprinkled it with some unicorn dust.
yeah.
A little glitter going on.
Yeah. Double A Day says you can have perfect balance, but if you don't have grip, it's over. It's like, yeah. But I'm actually, so that's one of the ones that I was talking about that I have kind of on the table for being a rock buggy. It's gonna be the whole drivetrain out of that Fordyce is that rock buggy. That's the one I was talking about. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it. I have a paint scheme
Speaking of
idea
rock
for it.
buggy,
Let's go.
the laser
Nut
nut.
Yeah.
Does that excite
Mas
you in your
Grande.
rock racing days?
Gigante. Oh, okay. You shouldn't have said that.
Oops.
You shouldn't have said that.
I take it back.
I'm
But does it
almost
excite you as
getting
just
on my soapbox. I'm almost going to get on my
just
soapbox.
the car itself excite you without any of the previous race stuff to be talked about? Just do you like the laser nut 1/6 scale? Is that a better scale for it?
No. I think I would take one in a heartbeat. But
It can
you can't race
so
it with
many
anyone.
more rock sizes. It's going to be its own
Okay.
class.
No, it's not. You're
Why
not going
not?
to get 6 laser nuts, 8 laser nuts out there, super laser nuts, and see them racing U4. Not a chance. I don't even know how much it is, and I'm going to tell you, not a chance. It's probably what, $1,200?
I haven't looked at what it costs.
I
just watched the
Yeah.
video for it. That kid can drive, by the way. He was at Monster Jam World Finals driving Super Laser at $799.
That's not bad for that price.
Nope, not at all.
However, I would probably rather have the Super Baja Ray because I like the scale stuff a little bit better. But the Super Laser Nut, it looks dope. I just
But this thing flip tops open and you can access everything. It just whole thing hinges up. Boom,
I don't
working
know, man.
on it.
It's just it's one of those things. Like I said, you're not going to see 8 of them on a track together. A track would have to be huge. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. Like I said, I can't say I would say no to one ever, but it's like my UDR right now. I don't get to drive it a lot. You know what I mean? It's just so big. And it takes a lot to get it out there. Yeah, I wish Racing Case says, I wish the front upper A-arms looked more like the 1-to-1 car. Not only that, but like the B pillar, that geometry, it looks a little off to me, but I haven't seen one in person. Like how it radiuses back a little
Yeah,
bit.
the rounding.
Yeah. So big. No Control says he hesitated. It's only 6S, but ordered it anyways. I think 6S is probably better, in my opinion, for that big of a
Well,
rig.
for what you're doing with it, with running into rocks, like you're
Yeah,
running
yeah,
at the rocks.
yeah, yeah,
Like if you're
yeah.
just looking for it to go like the desert buggy and just jump and like on sand, 8S is. I get it. Like I get why the DBXLE is 8S.
Yeah.
Different type of terrain that you're
It's not
thinking about
scale
running
though.
on.
Yeah, it's
Which
not
one?
scale though. No, I just mean running 8S,
In
80S.
that rig? Yeah, no.
Yeah, it wouldn't be scale. It would look kind of silly. And you would probably destroy it instantly. But I don't know. I think it's really cool. It's just such a big scale. I don't
So
get the
for
six
me,
scale stuff
you
because
break
it
that and
seems
you got to
like
carry it out.
right.
Again,
Yeah.
you're going to be jumping it into rocks. So I get like an SCX6. I'm probably not. I mean, you could break a steering knuckle or something like that you're going to have a hard time carrying it out. You're going to carry it.
Hmm.
But you're jumping this thing and the ability, to break something substantial where you're not going to be able to tether it and wheel it back, drag it back with a
Hmm.
leash, I
Yeah.
think goes up. And so, I
Yeah.
mean, if I had one, I would want a spot where I just basically park my car, step forward, and it's all right there. If I break it
Yeah.
500 feet, maybe I got to drag it. Even
Right.
that's far, but
Take a hand
I
truck
would
out
keep
there.
it pretty close, like, and that's how I
Yeah.
run
No,
with my DBXLE and all that. I don't have it drive very far away from me or
yep.
where I park my car because I've done that once, and that was not fun because I did break it. I
Yeah.
broke an
I
A-arm.
don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, how would I explain it?
Super Rock Ray is
It's
8S,
kind of
he's
like
saying.
when the average person gets a side by side and they don't drive it all but 4 times a year, but it's a real expensive toy. You know what I mean? Like, and I shouldn't. $800 is real expensive, but it's not that expensive. You know what I mean? It's like when you think about like an 8 scale nitro buggy, like the base price on a buggy chassis is $500, but then the motor's another $600 for a decent motor, and then you put everything else with it. I mean, you're doubling that by the time you're out the door with tires and servos and all that kind of stuff. So it's not the price isn't. I think the price is dynamite, to be honest. 800
I want to see
bucks.
how big it
Like
is next to a Rock Ray,
the Super Rock Ray.
the Super Rock Ray, because it's
Yeah.
5th scale, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
big.
don't know.
It's
Yeah.
big. It's 8S and big.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite that big.
I don't know. Who is
But,
that kid? Like, why? Is he
I
just
just see him in the pictures in the video. He's one of their
yeah.
racers.
Okay. I think one of the stories that is
I think his dad
interesting
works
that
there too.
okay. I think one of the stories that's interesting about Losi that's not getting enough airtime is the Team Losi Racing stuff that they came out with, the e-buggy and the truggy that's ready to run. Do you know how much that stuff is? Because I thought I saw a price for it and it was dynamite what the price was for that. I mean, it made me like be like, maybe I should sell a couple cars and get a truggy because it was like with it comes with a censored ESC and motor for the 8 scales, a 4S, like, but the fact that they're doing that's ready to run and you can get out there and race with the big dogs, that's pretty cool. And like I said, I don't know what the cost is, but I'll see if I can look it up. Let's see.
This doesn't actually look that big with him holding it. Now, here's the thing. Did you see that the nets are like actual nets for the windows?
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
cool.
Does that do it for you?
No, I'm still not. What does it for me is the cage is a flip top.
Yeah.
That alone sells me a lot on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So the Team Losi Racing 8th scale. Oh, wait, that's it. Nitro. Yeah. The new 8th scale Truggy ready to run is $679, which is a censored motor, an ESC, and a radio ready to run.
That's
That's
pretty good
a screaming deal.
to get people into racing. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially that all the parts are right there.
And this is based on their TLR 8.
Yeah. Well, they have their e-buggy is, how much is that? The RTR e-buggy. $469 for their e-buggy. That's a great deal too. That's a screaming deal. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at something else. Wait.
So how big is a
yeah,
Losi 8?
like an 8 scale buggy?
Yeah, it says 8X.
8XE?
So I guess it's bigger.
Yeah. Well, you can't see. An e-buggy's got like a 13.5-inch wheelbase. Somewhere around there.
Super Laser is 3 inches longer than Super Rock Ray.
Crazy.
Yes, Matt, my DBXLE is stock. I don't go crazy with those ones. A lot of those I don't. The Basher ones, people just go crazy with metal, and I don't tend to. I don't change out the motors. Everybody goes to like Hobby Wing and whatever, and I just keep running what it came with and just having fun with it. So same with the X-Max. I think most of the time people make mistakes when they upgrade them. And then they break them all the time, and they complain about breaking them. And I'm like, mine just works. I don't blow out diffs. I don't do all the things that you're saying that are happening to it. No drive cups blowing up. No, it just drives. But you put big tires on it, heavy wheels, the Pro Line stuff to it. It's just way too much rotating mass for what was intended. I mean, and then they just chase fixes and spend so much money chasing those fixes.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Ken Calhoun says that the TLRs are based off the old platform. They are, but as an entry to get into racing, having it all right there and you don't have to source everything and put it together, to me that's a dynamite value. Like, and you know it's a car that's going to handle. The thing about the e-buggy stuff, there's not a lot of like, there's been some innovations over the time. Like I'm looking at for instance, I'm familiar with the associated e-buggies, and between the 3.2 and the 4.1 right now, which is like 3 different iterations, I think. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, you're coming down to driver at that point. A driver of an old rig could run it around the track just as good as the new rig. So, Matt Mass says he bought one. I think he's talking about the e-buggy.
Yeah, the DBXLE. I mean, there's some things you can do I mean, I wouldn't disagree that. I mean, there's awesome Spectrum systems for it.
Yeah.
that just give you, like, especially if you want more control, you don't want cogging, that kind of stuff. If you want to do a censored system for it, I get that. Like,
Yeah.
I could get why you'd want to put because it cogs like that big of a motor.
Yeah.
So I do understand that. It's some of the other stuff, like you get rid of flexible parts on those big trucks and you're just asking
Yeah.
for that much weight
Yeah.
slamming into stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of old cars, there was a kid at the track that was running a Gen 1 T-Max in the novice class of dirt. Nitro. It was pretty rad seeing it run around. It wasn't competitive. I don't think it could be competitive in that class, but because you're running against e-buggies, right? Like, and it wasn't really, but it was just cool to see it run around. I was so scared because I helped him get it running. So I told him that it was during the main. I was like, just run up to the stand. I'll get it fired up for you, because he couldn't get it fired up right away. And so I'm sitting there, with the little starter and trying to cover the exhaust, trying to get it primed to fire. Took forever. Finally fired up, and on those, you got to clear them out if it takes too long because they flood out. And so I'm like, let her rip, and I'm holding on to it, and he full pins triggers the car, and he had dirt tires like pins on it. The tires get all pizza cuttery, and I'm holding on to this T-Max like, please don't blow up on my arm. Like, don't blow up in my face. So, yeah. It was crazy. Ken Calhoun says the biggest thing on the AE was the saddle buggy, or the saddle packs. True, I think. There's a little geometry stuff going on, but for the most part, the saddle packs is the hugest thing. Who are you rooting for, Tony, in 250 and 450?
Oh man, I saw the question. I like seeing what Deegan's doing, so I'd love to see him win. Other than that, I think Ryder D Francisco would be pretty cool, just because I like the name D Francisco. It's kind of fun to say. Yeah, Francisco, D Francisco. There's several guys I like up in there. Levi Kitchen would be cool. Tom Viel. It's always interesting to see how those guys are all up front. I just want it to be close racing. Like the last week was insane. The finish and everything, so good.
Yeah.
So, and then for 450, I like Cooper Webb. I don't know that a lot of people do. He's a definite favorite of mine. Aaron Plessinger would be like my top. I would love to see him just for the interviews after. I think he just adds an energy to it. I haven't seen him really up there front too much. The one saddest race of all time, that was also the most amazing race of all time, where he was leading the whole race, except that spoiler alerts here, a couple weeks ago, Chase Sexton came from crashing in the first lap at the start to passing everybody and winning the race on the last lap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, picked off everybody. Just picked them all off. And so I was sad because, you're watching history, but you're also like, why?
Mm-hmm.
They're teammates too, and it's like even more crushing. But you got to do it. Like, you've just taken out everybody. It's just the storybook ending of that run was unreal. But I like AP a lot. So,
Matt Mass says a rough few weeks in motorsports. I know about John Force, but I don't know about anything else going on.
That one girl, the drag girl.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
The street racer type stuff.
Yep. That John Force one was crazy. Have you followed that story at all?
No, the older guy, drag guy.
Yeah, John
Is that
Force is
John Force? Yeah,
yeah,
big name.
yeah. So he's like the
People have
icon.
wanted him to
He's
get
like
out for a while, and he just keeps going.
yeah, he's like 75. He's
Yeah,
like a goat. He's the goat or 72 or
yeah.
something like that. So he's like the goat now of an HRA
Lizzie.
funny car.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Um, so he hit his car blows up. He hits the wall, kind of ping pongs off the walls. Uh, he gets out of the car. He's coherent. They take him to the hospital, and then he's diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. And he was like in an induced coma. I didn't hear that it was coma, but I heard that he was sedated for 5 days, and then he comes out of it, and he's like trying to get his functions back, and from what I read anyway.
Is his current state right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
like
I hadn't
he's
heard the update since the crash.
yeah. So
I thought you were going to tell
what
me
was
different
crazy
news.
about it, it looked like it was like a bad crash, but it looked like he walked away, right?
Right.
And then went downhill when he was in the hospital. So they didn't release it, like if it was a really bad concussion or a brain bleed, or I'm assuming it was a brain bleed that gave him pressure that they had to sedate him for, but I have no
Yep.
idea like at all. But yeah, it was a so last I read about it, he was like barely able to recognize family members, but he was coherent, and like it was starting to get better, but still kind of like
Yeah. So I hadn't heard that. So I thought that maybe he had passed away, or like I wasn't sure what the news was when
yeah.
you guys are bringing
No,
it that
he's
way. I'm
in
like, I don't know. I knew about
he's
the
in
crash.
yeah. Right now, the last I read like yesterday, he's in like the neuro ICU, or there's a word for it. I don't remember what the acronym is, but it's like the
Okay.
brain ICU one.
Yep.
So yeah, crazy. And then the Lizzie one, I don't know much about her, other than it was a cancer, but
Yeah.
I know the show.
Yep.
So,
Somebody Racing Case said AP at Detroit. Yeah, that was another really crazy one with him. AP. Yes, I know Cooper Webb isn't back yet. That's why I'm like, I don't have like a person in the 450 other than I like Plessinger a lot, and I like Cooper Webb a lot. But he's out injured. I mean, I think the Lawrence brothers are exciting. I would love to see them duke it out, even because they've been getting to the point where they are having to race each other. And I'm not against. I mean, hey man, if you're the fast guy, I have no problem with him coming out and kicking everybody's butt over and over and over. Like we watched that in the Jeremy McGrath days when I grew up, man, and it still was exciting every week to just watch how good he was. Some people just excel, and
yeah,
man, he's taking it by storm. But I would the other thing I would love to potentially see is Jason Anderson and the Lawrence brothers get into a little bit of stuff. They've been kind of chippy all year, so if they could, if something happens, it'll just make for good entertainment as far as the spectator goes. But yeah, lots of injuries. It's a crazy sport. It's crazy. I mean, last year was crazy too with Tomac, and I don't know if you follow any of it, but man, all of the upsets in the standings, and how Sexton came from behind, and these storylines you did not foresee happening. It's like
yeah,
it's what are they? The dramas, the soap opera stuff.
yeah.
Basically,
It's funny because like that I've been wanting to like I interviewed my daughter before the mains, I think it was, and just audio. Like we were sitting on our lawn chairs in the trailer, and I start and I hear like I ask her like how the day was going and all that. And it's funny because it's like I want to see them get more of a personality when it comes to racing, but I don't know like how much do you foster that Like, because like my son's confident up there, but he doesn't have anyone he could really talk trash to anymore because the guy he was racing against moved up. So now he's like kind of like on the end of the stand doing his thing. And I'm trying to get him to not to talk so much trash to his sister because they're on the same team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I want them to work as a team together first, then talk trash to each other.
Right.
But yeah. Well, hey man, we've been on for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I think
man.
it's time to call it.
Let's do it.
I'm getting pings from my wife too saying, call me when you get off.
I need
So.
the computer. You need to go unload this. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
with my week being what it is and tomorrow being another day and short week, I still got to be ready for Sunday though. So short weeks aren't always a blessing that you hope they are because it just means you're going to catch it somewhere else. Yeah, man, this has been fun. Axialfest guys, they got the dates. They figured them out. I don't have them yet, but I heard that they're out. You should definitely look into it. Awesome year. Heard the night run went great. I didn't get to be in it with my lit truck this year, but lots of more stuff coming. I said on Operation 11 Charlie, I'm just, at this point I'm focusing. I got so little time. I'm just focusing on the stuff that I like, which is the way that it was when I started the channel.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably go back to some more that because right now I'm looking at stuff I have to edit. I'm like, I don't want to edit any of this. But when I'm shooting stuff that's just kind of fun and I like the slow-mo and the jumps and it's more just like almost it's a little bit of a cinematic cut to music. I think I want to go back to that because I actually love editing those and I look forward to it versus like, all right, and here's how you put this together, and this is my,
the story. Yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah.
So they're gonna be like an intro talking about what I'm gonna do, and then just let it roll, and so then cut it to music and have it be fun, so that I want to edit it. So I pretty much am trying to stick away from doing too many unboxings or new keep up. I'm gonna run my favorite truck's my old green one, which Ken Pilchner thought was the worst built truck ever, but did say he would never build it like that and doesn't like that kind of build at all. But then had to admit that it handled really good. He's like, I don't understand it. This blows my mind. It shouldn't be doing this. So because we put it on some things and it just works. So, but it's just I've been working on it for 3 years now and I've got it dialed to how I like it. It's not how people would build stuff. So those are the ones I'm going to run are the ones that I'm putting time into that I want to be running. And so we'll see more of those ones and less of the just, hey, here's the new bright, shiny thing to look at. And then, flash firing out, like so many of them are like that.
Yep.
And it's the ones that you build and you like, whether or not it's old or new tech. It's old. It's the original FureTech carbon fiber chassis. There's all these new that thing was one of the first aftermarket chassis you could get for it. And I'm still running it and it's killing it. So it's what it is. So that's where things are heading for me. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, man. Thanks everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Did you hit that end button?
Other side of what?
Did you hit it?
No.
Other side. I
don't know what other side.
Dark side of the moon.
Is there one though? Is it? It's always.
Well, technically, if it